in, sir.
Come in.
Yes, come in.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
Sit down, brother. Alright, so you did your civil engineering way back in 2017, that is almost 6 years back.
Yes, sir.
What has been the journey since then?
So I started preparing for civil services after that.
All these 6 years only civil services?
Yes, sir. So then I got into...
But she has already joined service.
Yes, sir. Into Indian Railway Traffic Service, sir, in 2019.
Okay. You are in IRTS?
Yes, sir.
You are undergoing training or on leave?
Sir, training is completed. Now I have got my posting at Prayagraj, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Alright. Fine. Let me begin with this Harcourt Butler Technical University. Who was this gentleman, Butler?
So he was the Governor General, and he established, like, it was on his name that our university was established.
Was he the Governor General? He was not a Governor General, he was in some other post. He was Governor of Central Provinces, that is UP.
Yes, sir.
United Provinces.
Yes, sir. Yes,
And then he was head of a committee. What was that?
Sir, Butler Committee.
What was it meant for?
Sir, the relationship between the center and the state, how the relationship would be there.
There was no center and there were no states in British times. So you are using a wrong term. First
Yes,
wrong
sir.
was that he is a Governor General. He was not. He's
Sorry,
not
sir.
second, you are talking about center and state.
Yes, sir. So I'm not able
Correct
to...
yourself.
Yes, sir.
He is a very famous person and you should know because you are alumni of this university.
So he was the one who decided the relation between the federation and the constituencies, sir. So I'm not able to get that.
You are trying to come around but you are not able to. It was to define the relationship between the British government and the princely estates.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. Yes,
They
sir.
gave the report in 1927. Butler Committee report is very famous.
Yes, sir.
And he was not the Governor General of India.
Yes, sir.
Okay. He was the Governor of your UP province.
Yes.
That was called United Province. Alright. Now coming to IRTS. You were trained at Baroda Academy?
Sir, Iritam, sir, Lucknow. Also at Vadodara, sir. Also.
Main training is Lucknow.
Yes, sir, Lucknow.
Now tell me what kind of training is imparted at Vadodara. There is a big railway institute.
Yes, sir.
And at Lucknow.
Sir, at Vadodara, we have a generalistic kind of a training where all the services, account service, personal services, everybody comes in and they are given an overview of the railways. So that is what is imparted at Vadodara. At Lucknow, we are given particular training about traffic service, sir.
After the inauguration of Indian Railway Management Service, what is the status of these 3-4 services? IRS, IRPS and IRTS.
So they will all be merged into one service, IRMS, and they will be given separate trainings on all the institutes so that each one of the probationer has a holistic view of the whole service as a whole, sir.
So what is the grand idea behind this IRMS? How it is an improvement upon the existing separate services?
So we had a lot of verticals in railway services. Even as I see it now, we have so many engineering services, personnel services. So it's difficult to get hold of the person who's responsible for any kind of act that happens in railways. So IRMS will ensure that we have a unified cadre and each one of them knows how the whole system is working rather than knowing it in silos. So that way accountability can also be ensured and we'll be able to coordinate better as well, sir.
What is the composition and function of the railway board?
Sir, it has a chairman, chairman railway board, CRB ma'am, that is Jaya ma'am.
Oh, ma'am, or don't talk about the personal, just talk about general composition and the functions they perform.
Okay, sir. Sir, one is MOBD, Member Operation and Business Development. Usually that person is a traffic service officer, sir. So one is member finance, one is member, the finance person will look into the accounts aspect of the railway, sir. So one is member infrastructure, the person will have a holistic view of the whole, sir, the infrastructure that we have, sir. And there is one more.
Have you got the opportunity to learn about the functioning of the DRM and the GM, General Manager and DRM, the two separate posts?
Yes, sir.
What they do?
So DRM is the divisional head. He or she is the person who looks after the divisional affairs and coordinates between the various verticals that we have at the divisional level. So GM, sir, is usually the person, right now he's a sir right now. So he's the person who will look after All these things at the zonal level, sir. So all the divisions combined and the zonal updates will be given to the GM.
Now see, what is the status of all the medium gauge and narrow gauge lines being converted into broad gauge? Do we still run on medium gauge and short gauge, narrow gauge?
So we don't have meter gauge as of now, but there are few places where we have the narrow gauge. That is usually the Kalka Shimla expressway and not expressway, sir. That is the Kalka.
There is toy train and all. Okay, so
Yes,
only
sir.
those are narrow gauge now.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
What do you know about the freight corridor concept in India? Railways have freight corridors.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we've come up with dedicated freight corridors. Earlier, the freight trains, they were making the passenger trains punctuality becoming poorer. So we divided the systems into a freight corridor and a normal one where passenger trains along with some freight trains would be run. So this will enhance the punctuality aspect of the passenger trains, sir. Because now they can run at a faster speed without getting lagged behind a longer train for a longer time.
That's the idea.
Yes.
Now, see, despite having the cover system which is put in place in some of the tracks,
Yes, sir.
this huge accident took place in Odisha. So, why the covers thing failed in that? Are you taught about as a traffic person Kavach and all?
Yes, sir. So Kavach was not installed in that particular area, sir. And Kavach is only for emergency braking. Had there been that system as well, at a very short notice, even Kavach couldn't have worked so fast.
Then
Because
what is the railway doing about it? What is the takeaway from that accident?
so one is the signaling aspect. If you're able to make it better, what happened in that accident was it was showing green light, but it turned towards the other one. There should have been proper interlocking between the signal and the point to which the track was showing the path. So that aspect failed, and one of our sirs also highlighted in a letter earlier that there is a significant problem in the signaling code itself. So the railway is trying to making it better so that the code doesn't have any problems. Sir.
Now see, fogs disrupt the entire traffic system in northern India. That happened this year also.
Yes, sir.
What are the technical innovations the railways are doing and you are aware of to keep the traffic smooth during the fog hours also?
So one is the fog control device, sir. So it basically it is a pre-recorded system which has chips installed in it, and it will tell that there is a signal coming after 500 meters. So the loco pilot will be aware that there will be a signal after 500 meters, and he or she can take appropriate steps. It doesn't show the signal aspect, the color of the signal, green, yellow, double yellow, but it will show him or her that there is a signal approaching and the person needs to be vigilant. Sir, another is a vigilance control device. Basically, in each 60 seconds, the driver has to be alert so that he has to press so there's a lever that he or she has to press. If he or she doesn't press the lever, the train will come to a halt within 10 seconds after the 60 seconds. This is there so that the driver remains alert and doesn't doze off during the fog times. Sir,
Fair enough. That's enough you have described.
Yes.
Mr. Tiwari.
Now, the railways are classified as a critical infrastructure.
Yes.
Huh? So, are you aware what is the definition of infrastructure?
So infrastructure would include both social infrastructure as well as soft infrastructure, like the hard infrastructure and the soft infrastructure. While the soft infrastructure would include education, health and other aspects, the hard infrastructure would be the logistics part of it. For example, the rail, the road, everything would be included in it, sir.
But what is it that qualifies a sector to be called infrastructure? Are there specified parameters for it?
So I'm not sure of the parameters, but it is the importance that it has in an economy to, for example, transport people from one place to another, or enhance the mobility aspect of people, sir.
Okay. Have you heard of harmonized master list of infrastructure sectors?
Yes, sir, I've heard of it, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, but I'm
You're
not
not
able
aware.
to
Okay,
recall
fine.
this, sir.
Now, what constitutes the major part of revenues of the Indian Railways?
So it is the freight part. So that is what earns us the maximum revenue. Around 68% of Indian Railways revenue is from the freight part, sir.
And what are the commodities which contribute to it?
So it's coal, petroleum oil. Then we have coal cakes as well. we transport fertilizers, we transport food grains, all sorts of commodities, sir. So there are parcel cargoes, everything goes on, sir.
And then what sort of a coordination is involved in it, in ensuring that it reaches the designated place?
So first step is to make available the rakes, the whole rake that is there, that has to be made available at the first instance. After that, sir, they're loaded, and once the loading is done, the whole the path for that freight train is calculated by officers. There is a regular meeting that happens in the morning and once in the evening daily. So CFTM sirs and all are involved there, sir.
So are you aware of what are the projections in this regard? Would freight traffic continue to be the mainstay of railways, or would passenger fares also contribute significantly to that?
So while there is a share of passenger traffic also involved in giving us the revenue, sir, but then the freight will remain a major part of our profits, because we are giving the passenger services at a subsidized rate, and there we are not able to make profits out of the whole system that is working. So unless we either increase the fare or we are able to provide more services at a higher price, so it would be difficult for us to get profits out of the passenger services. It is the freight that...
But with introduction of these new trains like Tejas and others, so what is the philosophy that is there a move to go more towards privatizing the railways?
So that's more of providing more services, but then the costs are still subsidized. We are not able to get profits out of them as well. The major profits that we get are from the third AC and third AC economy, because that is which gets filled the fastest because of the prices again. So the economies of scale we are able to achieve only in third AC. Rest of the sectors we are not able to get the major profit out from, sir.
Okay. Now with this merger of the railway budget with the union budget,
Yes.
so the criticism is often made that the system has become more, it is not transparent in that sense. So like one is not aware that how much is being spent on railway safety. So those aspects get compromised to a certain extent. So is that criticism justified? Is there enough transparency in the present process?
So while looking at it from an outer aspect, it might look like that we are compromising with the safety. But the internal budget management systems are there, which ensure that we are spending sufficient amount of money as well as resources on the safety aspect. So we have a separate vertical. These are the safety officers who conduct regularly vigilance, foot plating, and wherein officers are sent in the engine itself, sir, during fog hours, during all the times that are there. There are officers who are manning the control rooms. So I think it would be wrong to say that we are compromising on the safety aspects, sir.
No, but how do people get to know that? The process, the charge is that people do not get to know. One is not saying that officers are not posted for that purpose.
Yes, sir.
But that is the apprehension of the people, that in the earlier budget, all those heads were shown very distinctly. So much is on safety, so much is on track renewal, so much is on electrification. So those heads now, they have become all obscure in that sense. So that is the criticism. Anyway. Now, have you heard of this term anonymized data?
No, sir.
Huh?
So I can take a guess, sir.
Huh.
So the data that is anonymous is anonymized data. So which doesn't have a source to, so to say.
Okay. And what is the digital stack?
Sir,
Like
I'll
there
have to...
is an India stack, digital stack. So what is the base for that?
So I think there are 4 verticals of it. One is the Aadhaar verification, then one is where we store the data. So not much clear on it. But
Okay.
yes.
Then, how much would be the contribution of the public administration, say, which include the government and all sectors, to the GDP of the nation? Any idea?
So, it will be difficult to give a figure to it, because everywhere there will be the public administration involved, be it in providing the ancillary services or giving the required infrastructure or putting in the man hours. So that will be a major aspect of it.
Okay. Can you differentiate between the GDP and the NDP?
So GDP is the gross domestic product minus the, sir, I'll just try to recall, sir.
Okay. And what is gross national product?
So that is the one that is done by the people of India. the foreign remittances are excluded from the GDP. So only those that has been done by the individuals. So in the net, I think we exclude the subsidies and the taxes to get the NDP out of GDP, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Medha, you are a civil engineer.
Yes, sir.
Now tell me, what precautions you will take to construct roads in a hilly region, which involves tunneling also?
Yes, sir. So one is that there should be proper ventilation for the workers while they are preparing the tunnel, because just in case there is some landslide or something of that sort, they are able to sustain themselves there. So second is, while we do that dynamite firing, there are chances that the whole structure can get torn off. So we'll have to do it very carefully. So to ensure that there is just sufficient space for the workers to work in. So third will be the slope that we are building.
How do you decide on the alignment? You will start with alignment.
Yes, sir.
In a hilly region, while deciding alignment,
Yes, sir.
what precautions you will take?
So I think the standard.
Which areas should be
is-
avoided, which should not be?
So I think there are IAS codes for that, wherein the alignment is given, and we can adhere to those codes based on how much width of the road is present on that part of the section, sir. And so theodolites and total stations are the instruments which can be used to decide on the alignment part, sir.
If a shear zone is coming
Yes.
along the alignment, would you like to avoid it, or will you treat that shear zone?
So it will have to be decided on a case-to-case basis. If there are no safety considerations involved while tackling that shear zone, then we can go ahead with it. But if there are other aspects, for example, if that area has a lot of rains and something like that, there are other comorbidities involved, so we can avoid that shear zone. So.
Now, in a seismic area,
Yes.
which is high seismicity,
Yes.
what materials you will use for building bridge?
So one is steel. We can use steel because it happens so that because of its light weight, we'll be able to maneuver it well in seismic areas. So other is that we provide rollers on both ends of it, so that even in case of some fatality, the bridge can take its time to move across and not fail because of the.
Tell me some essential features of Atal Setu.
So one is that, sir, I'll have to read more on it, sir.
It's okay. Now, you have opted for sociology as your option.
Yes, sir.
Can you name 3 tribes of Northeast region and 3 tribes from Andaman and Nicobar?
So from the northeast, there would be Methi, Kuki, and Garo, Naga. And so from Andaman Nicobar, there would be Sentinelese, Great Nicobaris, and so one I'm not able to recall.
Okay. What's the main difference between these 2 tribes
So,
from Northeast and those of Andaman Nicobar?
so I think the isolation part, the Nicobar and the Andaman tribes would be highly isolated as compared to the ones that we have in Northeast.
Nicobaris are isolated.
So Sentinelese and
Sentinelese are in Andamans, not in Nicobar.
yes, sir. So major part of them are isolated, sir, and the ones in Northeast are not isolated and more politically active also.
Racially, how they are different?
So I'm not sure.
Okay. One is Negrito, another is Mongoloid.
Okay, sir.
What is 6th schedule of the Constitution?
So it is to provide safeguard to the tribes of our nation so that they get the required developmental benefits as well as they are able to maintain their.
How many states are in 62?
So 4.
What? Which one?
So Tripura, Mizoram, Assam, and
What is the reason for this recent differences between Kuki and Metis? And a lot of bloodshed
yes, sir.
there. So what was the reason for that?
So Metis are the plain people, and they are demanding reservations in the tribal schedule, sir. And Cookies already have it, so the Cookies fear that their pie will get reduced if the Metis are also given representation in the tribal section. And also, sir, that they are already the dominant people present there is what the Cookie people feel. So while the Metis people feel that they are at a disadvantaged position as compared to the other tribe, and therefore this bloodshed, sir.
What are your hobbies?
So drawing mandala, sir.
Mandala.
Yes.
Explain to me what is mandala.
In mandal art, sir, like Vayu Mandal is where it gets its name from. So mandal is basically a circle. So we draw concentric circles and fill it with different kinds of shapes. So it's easier as well as not that it's not that artistic as it's not difficult. And the other is that it has a spiritual angle to it. It is said that with each circle, we are trying to get power onto one of our negative aspect and develop one of our positive aspect. If, for example, if I'm angry, so one of the circles would represent how I get rid of my anger, and the other would be that I become more calm, and that way, sir. So the latest trend that is going on is that Mandal is getting converted into Zentangle.
How is it related to Buddhism?
Yes, sir. So it derives its concept from Buddhism, wherein the monks, they are making it on sand, and it showcases that nothing in this world is permanent. So they make it for weeks on sand, and then they just clear it off and put it in some river. So highlighting that nothing is permanent, and we should not take anything for on our health for a very long time.
Recently, in Davos, World Economic Forum meet took place
Yes, sir.
from 15th January to 19th January. What are the takeaway from Davos 24?
So one is about the wars that are going on, and it was felt that because we had Zelensky and everybody attending the Davos meet, so that was a good platform wherein he could have put up his point for a sort of a ceasefire that could have happened, because then we should not be going towards a sort of a world war. So second was on the green climate, wherein we need to invest more, and countries they understood that there is need to spend more on this aspect. So then there was.
What about India?
Yes. So we represented our case well, so there.
What case?
So that we are towards the peace forums that are taking place, the peace negotiations, and so on this war front itself, we held our grounds that there is need to resolve the wars and come to terms, sir.
Or we are the best place for investment. That was projected.
Yes, sir. So that too. So from the G20 last year, we took that away as a takeaway, and we said that we are a good place to invest because of the labor reforms, because of the market infrastructure, the single window clearances, and all the aspects.
Oh, it's okay.
Medha, you said this railway freight is giving the maximum income to the railways.
Yes.
And how does it compare with the road transport in terms of cost and volume?
So while the cost of transport is lower in terms of railways, but since we are not able to provide door-to-door availability of the materials, it becomes a difficulty. So in terms of volume also, because we have the containers and we are able to transship materials in the containers, so we are able to take more volumes as compared to roadways. But so the major challenge that remains is the door-to-door deliveries.
And what is the percentage if you make a differentiation?
So I'm not sure of the exact percentages, sir. I'll have to read more on it.
How do you see this introduction of the bullet train? Is it an ideal thing in an Indian setup? Is it a desirable thing in the Indian setup today, where the costs will be much higher compared to the normal travel?
So my understanding, it is time that we give our customers the best sort of experiences that Indian Railways can provide. With high-speed railways, we'll be able to cover longer distances in shorter amounts of time, and it will be a sort of a good strategy to even maximize our revenues while providing all those who can pay for it a good opportunity to travel easier and faster, sir. And that is one of the ways through which we can project ourselves as a global economy as well, sir.
You studied sociology,
Yes, sir.
and who were considered the founding fathers of sociology as a discipline?
So it was Auguste Comte and Saint Simon. They were the founding fathers, sir.
And what was their fundamental contribution?
So for them, it was difficult to establish sociology as a distinct subject. So the best thing that they offered for sociology was to establish it as a separate subject by giving the reasons why it should be studied separately than philosophy, or for that matter political science, and how it was better than all of the above. So for them, it was the father of all sciences, and that is how they projected it as a separate science.
How did Durkheim and, for example, Max Weber and Karl Marx, what was their respective contributions to the field?
So for Marx, it was that poverty is not a social concept. That was one of his contributions. So these people ensured that we get niche areas in sociology. So for example, Durkheim said that suicide is not a psychological aspect. It was a significant deviation from what a common man would have understood suicide as. So sir, these people, they specifically gave concepts which made sociology a distinct subject. So even for Weber, what he gave on bureaucracy was that we need to have specialists. And even he went on further to understand it that will be an iron cage of rationality and all. So he was able to contradict the system which he himself found to be the best. So that way, sir, they gave deeper insights into the sociological study of various institutions, sir.
A caste survey is very much in the news. Do you see the desirability of caste surveys in India?
So my understanding is that we should have a caste survey so that we get to know the percentages of different castes that are present, and how much, for example, in reservation also, how much each caste need to be given. For example, if there is a greater proportion of certain scheduled tribes present, or a caste present in our system, which is classified as maybe economically backward, then maybe we need to enhance its share, its particular percentage in the horizontal sphere. So not the vertical ones, but the horizontal ones.
So that means you subscribe to a view that we provide reservation in proportion to their presence in the population?
So not in population, because then we'll be breaching the 50% mark that was given by Supreme Court in the judgment. So my take is that different subsects of the castes that are right now underrepresented, as also highlighted by the Justice Commission that was there for the OBC classification, sir. So there are some castes which are taking more share as they are in the population. So the other which are not, for example, sir, there was this Nai community and also the Luhar community. They are getting less representations, and so their representation should be enhanced, sir, in that specific pie that we are giving them, sir.
You mean to say there should be reservation for subsets within caste categories?
Yes, sir, something of that sort based on economically justifiable parameters. Those which are in the creamy layer should not typically subscribe to this reservation system, sir.
So the creamy layer system should be introduced in scheduled caste tribes?
So my take is yes, so that there are people who are not able to get benefit out of it because of the historical injustices, and they are able to get a better status in the society, sir.
The limit set for the OBC's reservation,
Yes, sir.
do you think that limit is fair and justified?
So I think so, yes, although we might think it is very less, but then still there are a large number of people who are still getting into the non-creamy layer. That highlights that there are many people, a large part of the population that is still not above that limit. So I think that is fair based on the data that the government would have subscribed to, sir.
But can you say that we have retained that 50% reservation that the Supreme Court has decreed, or is it that in different states that reservation percentage has been breached already?
So in some states they have breached it. For example, in Tamil Nadu they have 69% already, and they've put it under the 9th schedule. So there are various contentious points that remain. But so in some of the states there have been a breach of the 50% limit that the Supreme Court set up.
And the current agitation for Maratha reservation
Yes, sir.
that has been in the news, do you think that's a very justifiable demand?
So sociologically speaking, it is when the dominant castes they get lesser share in the income aspects, and because of the decreasing agriculture and the mainstays that they had earlier traditionally, so the dominant caste usually puts up its demands for getting into that pie. But so there should be some distinction wherein we are able to classify those who really need the reservation in the Marathas. There would be some who would be really well off, and there would be some who would require that reservation. So a deeper insight into this would be required.
Recently, the government of India gave that posthumous Bharat Ratna to Tripuri Thakur.
Yes, sir.
Well, he deserved it, but there are other people say, some scholars say, there are other OBC leaders who deserved it more. How do you look at this controversy?
So while his contribution cannot be negated, but definitely some sort of political maneuvering might be happening at the higher scales, wherein Bharat Ratnas are given based on some affiliations, which subscribe to some sort of ideology and parties. So that will remain each time, like a government remains, that will remain their mainstay, sir. So, but sir, his contribution cannot be denied in any forms. So maybe this time we have him, then afterwards we'll have.
What was his specific contribution?
So social equity was one of his main contributions.
How did he bring it about?
Sir, he implemented the Mugheri Lal Commission report, wherein he gave the reservations for different communities, sir.
Enough, I think. Coming to Mandala art, what is the concept of yantra in Mandala art? Yantra, you know the word of yantra?
Sir, not specifically related to Mandala art, but yantra is an equipment or instrument, sir. Sir, is it related to the tantric form of Buddhism?
Yes.
So I'll have to read more on it. I can guess.
You may not know.
Yes.
What is the origin of the word mandala in Rig Veda? Because the term mandal has been derived from Rig Veda. So what does it mean in Rig Veda? And you know about the concept of Navgrah?
So not Navgrah, but Mandal is something circular. For example, Vayu Mandal. So
You should relate this mandala with Rig Veda from where the term has been derived.
sure, sir.
Anyway, coming to this, your choices, you are already in traffic service. What you are still changing revenue services also? You think
Yes.
it's better than traffic service? IAS, IPS, I can understand those top three services.
Yes, sir. So the revenue services will give me a greater insight into how the tax part of the system works. So I wanted to be into that service and learn more about economics as well. So I think that will give me greater insight. So also traffic service with time is becoming more ambiguous because we don't know where the future lies. So sir, that's why I've opted for it.
I didn't get you. What is ambiguous?
So the traffic service right now will be merged into the management service. So with time it will be difficult for us to, because we were the last traffic service batch
You are
officers.
not able to see the future, how it turns out in terms of merging and all. I get it.
Yes.
Very well. How this merger of railway budget with the general budget has worked out in favor of the railways? Or you think that was a good arrangement when the railway budget used to be produced separately?
So while we used to get greater funds that time because there was some part which had to be given to the railways, but sir, with recent budgets we are definitely getting more than what we would have expected. So sir, it has turned out to be fair in our advantage, sir.
Is fair enough.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, see, you are a girl and you are a woman candidate, and we see lots of youth, I mean girl youth, they are getting addicted to drugs, drinks, and lots of mental sickness and all. All is not fine with them,
Yes.
with the young. What accounts for their falling back on drugs and cigarettes and other things? and how can we really win them away from such habits?
So one is the impact of movies, I would say, that smoking cigarettes is seen as a very cool thing to do, and we see women around now
You
more.
mean to say that girls are deriving values from movies and drinking and smoking?
So it is one of the
Is
ways.
it that
which-
simple?
So not that simple, sir, but it is one of the ways through which we get our value systems incorporated,
But
because
movies are also on Ramarajya and all value Harishchandra. Do they derive? Everybody should be truthful like Rama and Harishchandra. If that was so simple, one can learn to be like Lakshman and Ram from movies.
so
Why
people.
you are attributing it to movies? Why don't you come to the larger social setting, economic setting? I want you to discuss on that. Don't bring it to movie.
Yes. So one is that in a bit to be my understanding is that, so in a bit to be equal to men, there are some part of our girl child that are thinking that this is one of the things that can make us equal to men, perhaps.
That's a mistaken belief that this is the way to become
Yes.
equal,
Yes.
according to you.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
Yes.
All right.
So rather than taking up the responsibilities which the male counterpart has taken for a very long time for the whole society, I think it is time that women, they are
Have you felt any point of time that you should drink and smoke? Has there been any
so peer
point
pressure.
of time that you feel that nothing is working for me, I should drink and I should smoke?
So during training, I had a lot of peer pressure, wherein people said it's all right to drink and smoke, and you should start trying it and doing it. But then I spoke to my father, and I told him that there is a lot of pressure on me, especially on social occasions, to drink and smoke. So that's when we had a good discussion, and I decided that I should not go into that aspect, because
Now, I came to your example because I was trying to find out the reason why people do that. You said peer pressure.
yes,
So that is the reason that today the youth, both boys and girls, are under tremendous pressure
Yes.
to perform, to outsmart others, to compete, and lots of expectations and all that. The world has become more hostile for them.
yes,
That is the real reason why they are taking to such, kind of escape from reality. That's why I sought your example. Okay.
yes, yes.
So, all right. We have interviewed you. We'll call you for the feedback in 1 minute.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Betty.
Yes.
So you made it to IRTS in which year?
So 2019.
19.
Yes, sir.
And after that, you've taken exams, huh?
So yes, sir, I have. So
But
this is-
didn't make it, huh?
yes.
Oh. To the last 2 times you didn't make it. 20, 21, 22, 3 times, huh?
Yes, so once I didn't give it, once I didn't clear the prelims, and once I missed the list by 1 mark, sir, in 2020. So,
Oh.
yes.
Fair enough. You are able to engage. See, you have been through the interview. You know how it goes and all that.
Yes.
And it won't come to you as a surprise. They are not going to ask you many more questions. Your advantage is that you are already in IRTS. So railway will be the big platform for you
Yes.
to ask questions and all that.
Yes.
We could ask whatever the time permitted, but you can expect more questions also.
Yes.
But since you are in the railway traffic, safety aspect will be more to be asked. And,
Yes.
You were not very confident about the composition of railway board. I was surprising you with all kinds of questions. TRM kya karta hai, EM kya karta hai. So there can be a volley of questions like that.
Yes, sir.
If I had the time, I would have engaged you for 1 hour on that. But other members were there. But whole interview can go on railways only,
Yes, sir.
from safety to passenger experiences to revenues to expansion plans. What railways are doing abroad? We are having something in Nepal. We are having something. Lots of connectivity we are doing. Pakistan, Bangladesh,
Yes, sir.
neighboring countries and all that. And we have several projects running abroad also.
Yes.
Indian Railways doing that. And other agency of railways, rights क्या करता है, फिर कौन क्या करता है. So since you are part of railway, you should know all that.
Yes, sir.
तो उसको तो एकदम round तैयार कर लो. That's one.
And especially railways doing so well in the stock market these days. And every day in the front page, railway stocks are doing so well.
रेलवे में अच्छे से कर पाओगे ट्रेनिंग इंस्टीट्यूट कहाँ पे क्या होता है, वडोदरा में क्या होता है, लखनऊ में क्या होता है, कहाँ पे इंजन बनता है, बनारसी में क्या बनता है, लोकोमोटिव में, चेन्नई में क्या बनता है,
Yes, sir.
कोचेस क्या बन रहा है, व्हाट आर द न्यू थिंग्स अबाउट द कोचेस, नाउ वी आर कमिंग टू ऑल दिस, व्हाट इज दैट कॉल्ड,
Anti.
लॉट्स ऑफ न्यू थिंग्स आर हैपनिंग, आई एम नॉट एबल टू रिमेंबर द नेम ऑफ द कोचेस, तो वो सब कर लेना रेलवे को लेकर के। रेलवे के अलावा जो पूछेंगे वही पूछेंगे जो मैंने पूछा कि वे आर इंटरेस्टेड इन दीस सर्विसेज, ऑलरेडी यू हैव जंप्ड लैंडेड इन अ गुड सर्विस एंड ऑल दैट।
Yes, sir.
So obviously, you should not feel shy of saying that the fact remains that IAS, IPS, IFS are the most sought after service.
Yes, sir.
Don't give reasons that you will go and break the entire world. That's all unreal. Just say that it's a most prestigious service and definitely I would like to join it. Give a very, very curt and simple answer. Opportunity मिलता है, challenge मिलता है, diversity मिलता है. Every second person says that. Just accept the fact that these are I consider these the most prestigious civil services. I would be happy to join it. Like
Yes.
that. You have a right to prefer what you want to do in
Yes.
life. I was testing you on these women issues and all that, just so that you can just come out of your presence of mind and just answer on the spot.
Yes.
It's all this liquor and drink and all. But you have to give whenever such questions are asked, any question of social evil or bright practices that we are having, you should set the whole thing into the social background and this patriarchy, society, pressure, new age materialism, and then answer it. Don't make it like movie देखने से लोगों को आदत पड़ रही है. That is a very small fragment of this.
Correct, sir. Correct.
All right.
Yes.
तो वो सब आंसर आपको ठीक से देना पड़ेगा उस तरह के सिचुएशन अगर आएंगे तो.
Ji, sir.
Others can tell you something.
नहीं, नथिंग स्पेसिफिक, आपने कह दिया जो करना है। वही जो कह रहे हैं कि रेलवे बोर्ड को भी समझ लो हाउ इट हैज बीन रिस्ट्रक्चर्ड मर्जर के बाद ये सब जो हुआ है,
Yes, sir.
है ना। और जो बजट आ जाएगा तो कब इंटरव्यू कब है?
Sir, 13th March.
हाँ, तो
काफी
Kab-
13th March, sir.
13th March.
Yes, sir.
This you have appeared in the interview only once or twice?
Sir, twice.
Twice.
Yes, sir.
मार्किंग क्या था?
Sir, एक बार 193, एक बार 180.
So you deserve 180 to 195 के बीच में you always deserve under any worst case scenario also.
Ajay, with that marks also you missed by 1 mark. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Achha.
तो अभी यू डोंट हैव एनी वर्क एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ रेलवे?
So I have 2-3 months of work experience, sir.
ओके।
What is your father doing? He is assistant general manager in what?
Sir, roadways, UPSRTC.
And mother?
Sir, in PNB.
PNB में.
PNB bank, yes, sir.
I couldn't find it here.
They are based in Lucknow.
No, sir. Sir, father is based in Lucknow, mother is based in Meerut.
Now see, the discussion can also go to UP, to which
Yes.
you belong.
Yes.
So obviously UP के बारे में मेरठ से आती हो तो crime is more prone in मेरठ, बुलंदशहर, all those areas and all. So why crime is so rampant and what the government is doing. And UP का development model जो अभी चल रहा है, the Global Investor Summit, how they are trying to attract lots of things and all.
Yes.
उसपे you cannot remain unprepared on that. Your home state.
Yes.
I'm sure you know about it.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, that's all from my side, and I wanted to see you in a formal dress, but you have come just like that. But that will do. That's fine. You can show your formal dress to the board.
Yes, sir.
Now you should go in formal dress.
Yes, yes, sir.
And since you have opted for sociology,
Yes, sir.
so you should know more about the Northeast tribes elements because they are always in focus.
Yes, sir.
So read more about them
Yes.
and their constitutions and all those details. And about civil engineering, you have been a civil engineer, but particularly in regard to that tunnel collapse and all
Yes.
those things, how it happened, and about Atal Setu.
Yes,
there
sir.
are many special features
Yes.
that you must know about it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
After getting to IRTS, you have not faced the interview.
So once I faced, sir.
After that also.
Yes, sir,
So what were the
2020.
questions around?
So then there were not many questions on railway, sir. Because, sir, I had taken EOL, extraordinary leave, so I was on leave. that
Obviously, so they wouldn't expect you to know about that.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah. But this time they can ask you lots of questions on railways. Make railways your first priority to prepare.
day. Yes, sir.
Then go to UP. Then you go to your Mandala art. You need to read more on Mandala art.
Yes, sir.
Theoretical aspects. and
So
all.
you thought 180 means reasonably well. So your written exam was not so well.
Yes, sir. So it was not that good in any one of the subjects. It was like okay in all subjects. So it didn't take me to.
Let me just say my advice to her. Yeah. One will be this railways, second you come to UP,
Yes, sir.
and third you come to women issues. As a woman participant, how you look at the main problems that Indian women face, whether youth or other or rural women and all. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And women empowerment and all, safety of women and all. They can just take you to that.
And
Especially when there is a girl member, they'll ask you that. Other than that, they will ask you on current issues, and for current issues, there is endless thing how to prepare.
Yes.
So make 3-4 major headings from where they will ask you questions. One will be environment.
Yes.
What's happening on that front?
Yes.
5 जो टॉपिक है 6 उसको लेके कर लो.
Hmm.
Second will be polity. What's happening to federalism? What is about election? What about simultaneous election? Blah blah blah. Governor का रोल, जो भी controversy आ रहा है उसको तैयारी कर लो. Judiciary, criminal laws, amendment. 6-7 you do like that. Social issues 6-7 you prepare. Environment, international relations, polity, social issues and burning economic issues.
Yes.
बजट में क्या हुआ, इस बार बजट हो चुका होगा जब तक आप जाओगे, तो इस तरह के 5-6 इशू लेके चले जाओ.
Yes.
More than that, there is nothing to prepare. That's my personal advice.
Yes.
Sir was saying something to you.
No, about climate change, I was saying same environment that covers
Everything.
all issues related to environment,
You should
including
know.
climate change. That you must update yourself.
Yes, sir.
You want to ask something?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, all the best.